Here are the top stories for today, July 20, 2021.
I urge the DILG and the PNP to implement existing protocols with greater urgency and necessity.
President Rodrigo Duterte is eyeing stricter health measures in preparation for the more aggressive COVID-19 Delta variant. Once fully vaccinated, individuals will be allowed to physically attend this year's State of the Nation address of the President. The government is working to provide more chartered flights for stranded OFWs. And President Duterte expressed hope that unity would prevail as he joined the solemn and meaningful observance of Eid al-Adha. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte expressed hope that unity would prevail despite political and religious beliefs between the Muslim community and other groups. In his Eid al-Adha message to Muslim Filipinos, President Duterte said the occasion continues to serve as a testament to the unyielding faith of the Muslim community. He also said that he stands in solidarity with them in pursuing shared goal of building a society that transcends religious, political, and cultural barriers. In a separate statement, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque emphasized the need to keep mutual respect, harmony, and understanding. Roque also called on everyone to set aside differences to overcome great challenges, including the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar also expressed hope that Muslim Filipinos would help the government in defeating COVID-19. Andanar enjoined the Muslim Filipinos to participate in the government's COVID-19 immunization drive and continue observing minimum public health standards. Meanwhile, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo advised the Muslim community to suspend social activities to keep them safe from COVID-19. Panelo also wished that faith, obedience, unity, and sacrifice would lead to healing and recovery from present difficulties. President Duterte is eyeing stricter health measures in preparation for the possible local transmission of the more aggressive and fatal COVID-19 Delta variant. The president said the government is closely monitoring the country's cases and health system indicators. This as the health department has reported 60 new cases of Delta variant in the country as of July 16. Based on the DOH report, the Delta variant is 60% more transmissible than the usual Alpha variant.
Pagka nandito na, sakali man it will spread, I hope it will not, then we'll have to go again to stricter measures. I urge the DILG and the PNP to implement existing protocols with greater urgency and necessity. It is only by imposing these restrictions that we can fight the threat of Delta variant.
Previous Delta variant cases undergo testing and quarantine to verify their status, as some who were earlier tagged as recoveries tested positive anew for the disease. In a palace briefing, DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said the retesting and repeat quarantine will be done for 9 local Delta variant cases and 5 returning overseas Filipinos. She said patients will remain in isolation until they test negative after 14 days. Meanwhile, Manila no longer allows home quarantine even for asymptomatic patients due to the hyper-transmissible Delta variant. The Manila Barangay Bureau says that in case a patient refuses to be transferred, village officials may seek police assistance. Albay and Iloilo impose stricter measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in their areas. Meanwhile, Cebu City Police recommends granular lockdown due to another surge. The details from Chris Mundo.
In Albay, a tugboat and a barge with confirmed COVID-19 positive crew members are prevented from docking at the port. The local government says this is to prevent the virus from spreading and ensure the safety of Bicolanos. The Health Department urges the Bicol Interagency Task Force to closely monitor the tugboat and its crew. The vessel came from Indonesia and arrived at the port of Butuan on July 14. The Office of Civil Defense, meanwhile, denied an earlier report that the vessel sailed for Albay without seeking clearance from maritime authorities in Butuan. In Iloilo, citywide border control is in effect until the end of July to restrict non-essential travelers due to the detection of Delta variant from Pandan Antique. The order prohibits the travel of persons within Panay Island to the city except for essential purposes. Meanwhile, non-upports from Negros Island may be allowed entry if they comply with the S-Pass or Safe Swift and Smart Passage system and have a negative RT-PCR result 2 days before travel. And in Cebu, COVID-19 surge has been noted in the cities of Cebu, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu. As such, the Cebu City Police Office has recommended to the Emergency Operations Office to put villages with a high rate of infection under granular lockdown, particularly Barangay Guadalupe, which has a total of 15 deaths just this month alone. Reports said the new casualties were younger, although the ages were not specified. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
Only individuals who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 would be allowed to physically attend President Rodrigo Duterte's last State of the Nation address on Monday, July 26. House Secretary General Mark Leandro Mendoza said around 350 guests would be allowed to be physically present in the House, including lawmakers, cabinet members, dignitaries, among others. The Batasang Pangbansa will be placed on lockdown starting Friday in preparation for the said event. Several areas in the Visayas and Mindanao gear up for the COVID-19 vaccine rollout with the arrival of the single-dose Janssen vaccine. In Negros Occidental, Janssen jabs will be rolled out next week from July 26 to 30. The province received 70,000 doses of the jabs from the national government and will be administered to senior citizens and adults with comorbidities. Meanwhile, Janssen vaccines are delivered to the 4 priority areas in Western Visayas. The 289,900 doses of the jabs are allocated for Antique, Iloilo Province, Bacolod City, and Iloilo City. The rest of the allocations are intended for Negros Occidental, Capiz, Aklan, Guimaras, and as buffer doses. And in Mindanao, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, or BARMM, received the first batch of Janssen vaccines. A total of 30,000 doses of the single-shot vaccine arrived in Tawi-Tawi on Monday that will be rolled out in the municipalities of Sitangkay, Turtle Island, and Mapun Island. Another 30,000 doses have also been delivered to the island province of Basilan. BARM Health Minister Basharay Latif said the rollout of the Janssen vaccines will begin immediately after the Eid al-Adha. No less than the President himself reiterates his appeal for the public to avail of the free COVID-19 vaccines, especially with the emergence of the Delta variant. Let us find out how our kababayans are faring after their inoculation.
Okay lang naman po. Wala namang akong na mga result na hindi maganda. Kasi nung nabaksin ako, yun lang yung syempre kahit ano namang bakuna, 'di ba? Masakit yung braso. Pero mga isang araw lang sa pangatlong araw nawala na.
Mabigat yung pakiramdam. Tapos masakit yung mga kasukasuan ko, yung mga Tapos nagsinat din ako konti lang. Ayun. Ganun lang naman, mga ngalay lang sa balikat.
Still to come, Malacanang appealed to Congress to pass the anti-endo bill. And the government is working to provide more chartered flights for stranded OFWs. Details ahead, this is the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
If you are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective. I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic, because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. Malacanang on Monday appealed anew to Congress to pass the bill that seeks to institutionalize the right to security of tenure of casual and contractual employees. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Roque said Senate Bill number 1826, otherwise known as the Proposed Security of Tenure and End of Endo Act, continues to be an administration bill. He said the anti-endo bill has also been certified by President Rodrigo Duterte as urgent. He, however, said no amount of certification can lead to an enactment of the law if the wisdom of Congress thinks otherwise. The measure seeks to provide civil service eligibility and permanent appointment to contractual, job order, and casual government employees who have served for substantial periods of time. Citing the 1987 Constitution, the authors of the bill have highlighted a must for the state to protect the security of tenure of each employee. The government is arranging more chartered flights for some 6,000 overseas Filipino workers stranded in 8 countries due to the presence of the more infectious COVID-19 Delta variant. The Department of Labor and Employment is coordinating with the Department of Foreign Affairs for the immediate repatriation of Filipinos from India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III on Monday said most of the stranded OFWs are in UAE and Oman. He said the OFWs cannot be left behind in these countries where shelters are filling up. He assured that the repatriated Filipino workers will be subjected to strict health protocols. A Philippine Coast Guard patrol ship has successfully chased away a Chinese Navy warship from the Marie-Louise Bank located near El Nido, Palawan. The PCG said BRP Cabra monitored a Navy warship with a People's Republic of China flag and Chinese markings on July 13 in the Marie-Louise Bank. It said the BRP Cabra, led by Commander Erwin Tolentino, calmly sent a radio challenge to the Navy warship while approaching and monitoring the ship's movement. The ship continued its monitoring until the foreign state vessel left the Marie-Louise Bank. BRP Cabra's patrol is part of its mission under Task Force Pagsasanay. The task force aims to help ensure the health and safety of Filipino fishermen around the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and in the West Philippine Sea. The Philippine Coast Guard warned international travelers going to the Philippines against a fake website that offers RT-PCR tests on their arrival for a fee. Task Force Bayanihan returning overseas Filipino Commander Rear Admiral Rolando Punsalan Jr. identified the website as Philippines Visa, which redirects unsuspecting users to a different site called Philippines Travel Health Certificate. Punsalan said the site is false and is not authorized by the PCG. He said those who wish to report an incident related to the website or have inquiries may reach out to the PCG task force through mobile and Viber. On July 7, the Philippine Red Cross warned the public against online booking scams for paid COVID-19 testing. It advised the public to only visit official sites such as the PRC's website. The Department of Labor and Employment has extended the employment of nearly 6,000 contract tracers in Metro Manila, but only for 2 months due to lack of funds. DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III said the extension of employment was upon the request of Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, Metro Manila Development Authority Chair Benhur Abalos, and mayors in the National Capital Region. They originally asked for an extension of another 3 months. Bello said the department will spend more than 200 million for the 2-month extension. Last May, several local government units in Metro Manila deployed contact tracers under the DOLE's Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged Displaced Workers program. The contract tracers were hired to serve for 3 months with a 537 peso per day salary. The program has a budget of 280 million pesos. Up next, the League of Parents of the Philippines warmed up Diliman officials and teachers against leftist groups that recruit students. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom. You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. The Antiterrorism Council has declared the National Democratic Front, a coalition of sectoral groups, as a terrorist organization connected to the Communist Party of the Philippines and the New People's Army. More on this from Joyce Cudis.
The National Democratic Front, or NDF, has been formally designated as a terrorist organization by the Antiterrorism Council. ATC Chair and Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea cited the NDF as an integral and separate part of the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, created in April 1973. An ATC resolution identified the NDF as the core and most consolidated group that provides support to the armed and organizational expansion of the CPP-NPA. It also said the role of the NDF in armed operations has been repeatedly confirmed by CPP founder Jose Maria Sison. National Secretary Advisor Hermogenes Esperon Jr. reminded the public of the duplicitous nature of the CPP-NPA-NDF. Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana meanwhile hailed the ATC resolution, saying this would justify and enable the defense sector to move forward in addressing internal security concerns. Meanwhile, anti-communist groups appealed to the University of the Philippines to protect their 11,000 new freshmen against recruitment, NPA and its legal fronts. The League of Parents of the Philippines and the Liga Independencia Pilipinas marched through the gateway of UP Diliman on Monday as it called on officials and teachers to be more vigilant with the new batch of students for the coming school year. The LPP said UP must be vigilant and not tolerate the presence of legal fronts that recruit students. It said communist terrorist groups have deceptive schemes to disguise their agenda against the government and the Filipino people. It also called on the UP administration to crack down on these front organizations. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Joyce Cudis.
Army troopers have foiled the New People's Army plot to disrupt the Bike for Justice and Peace event in Quicharao, Agusan del Norte over the weekend. The Army's 29th Infantry Battalion said that they received reports that armed rebels in Barangay Mahayhay were planning to stage a sabotage to discourage the residents to participate in the biking activity. Troopers who secured the area last July 17 encountered twice at least 7 NPA rebels belonging to the Sandatahang Unit Pampropaganda 16A in Purok 6 of Barangay Mahayhay. The rebels shielded themselves at a residential area and fired upon houses of residents as they escaped. The Bike for Peace activity was carried out nationwide in commemoration of the 40th day of the death of football player Keith Absalon and his cousin Nolven, who were killed by NPA insurgents in Masbate. The Armed Forces of the Philippines joined the Filipino Muslim community in today's celebration of Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice. AFP Chief General Cirilito Sobejana said the observance of Eid al-Adha is a time to triumph despite challenges. Sobejana said the significance of Eid al-Adha was shown during the C-130 plane crash in Patikul, Sulu last July 4, when the people near the site responded to help survivors. Sobejana vowed on behalf of the AFP to repay their kindness as they ensured the peaceful celebration of Eid al-Adha. He expressed hope that every Muslim can strengthen their faith and spirit, triumph over despair, and embrace a life dedicated to the service of those who are in need. Bacolod City has indefinitely prohibited the entry of leisure travelers from Panay Island as part of border control measures against the transmission of the COVID-19 Delta variant. Mayor Evelio Leonarda issued Executive Order 39A, Series of 2021, after 2 cases which tested positive with the Delta variant were found in Panay Island. Based on EO 39-A, those from GCQ and modified GCQ areas in Panay may be allowed into Bacolod if they present the required documents. These include a negative RT-PCR test result obtained within 72 hours, online Bacolod City COVID-19 contact tracing or backtrack registration, online health declaration S-Pass, travel coordination permit, and valid personal identification card. Fully vaccinated residents will also again revert to presenting a negative RT-PCR test result. Meanwhile, only authorized persons outside of residence are allowed to travel from Panay in or out of Bacolod. Both the province and the city of Iloilo have been placed under ECQ until July 31. In sports, President Rodrigo Duterte hailed the newest batch of sports icons who have brought honor to the country during the virtual Philippine Sports Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony on Sunday. The Philippine Sports Hall of Fame formally immortalized the 4th batch of PSHOF enshrinees, starring football hero Paulino Alcantara, basketball idol Robert Jaworski, swimmer Eric Buhain, track and field celebrity Elma Muros, and 1988 Olympic bowling gold medalist Ariane Cerdena. Also joining them are basketball and football coach Dionisio Calvo, Gertrudes Lozada for swimming, Rogelio Onofre for athletics, and Olympic bronze medalist boxers Leopoldo Cervantes and Roel Velasco. Duterte said he hopes the achievements of the new Hall of Famers will inspire the younger generation of Filipinos to work harder in their chosen fields. Philippine Sports Commission Chairman William Ramirez also said they are great examples and living heroes of the youth. The 10 enshrinees received 200,000 pesos each plus a well-crafted trophy. Here's another look at today's biggest stories.
I urge the DILG and the PNP to implement existing protocols with greater urgency and necessity.
President Rodrigo Duterte is eyeing stricter health measures in preparation for the more aggressive COVID-19 Delta variant. Once fully vaccinated, individuals will be allowed to physically attend this year's State of the Nation address of the President. The government is working to provide more chartered flights for stranded OFWs. And President Duterte expressed hope that unity would prevail as he joined the solemn and meaningful observance of Eid al-Adha. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC13. Let us join our Muslim brothers and sisters in celebrating Eid al-Adha, the feast of sacrifice commemorating the willingness of Prophet Abraham to offer his son Isaac to the Lord. Eid al-Adha Mubarak, everyone. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day. Stay safe, everyone.